Mm, 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 mm. The sky is not the same shade of blue. Every single thing I believed isn't true. Missing in a maze of monochrome. How did I get here? How can I go home? The echoes of my eyes, of all they used to see, burning down the world, the ashes and debris, and all that's left of me, non-entity. Trying to stand in line, try to obey. I don't remember the word. Welcome to another episode of the apocalypse. I am your humble guide, Nicholas. Take my hand, walk through the door with me, for that is why I am here, to guide you through it. Well, it seems the Anticristo today blamed the war on Ukraine. He said they shouldn't have started it. The thing is, they didn't start a damn thing. You who are destined for the fucking lake. They were attacked by the cunt that owns you, Vlad. He's the only one to blame. Donnie even mentioned the dome that now has a hole in it. He said there would be no domes with holes in it right now. If they had just made a deal. My God, every single second, you ensure your place in the lake. Every bloody second, and that's the only place your fat ass is going. Praise Jesus. Yes, let us begin. Begin this piece of shit. Because I am not in the mood for these cunts. Not in the slightest. But, let them have their fun now. You better get it in, guys. Stephen Miller, Leon, Donnie, you're all going right in the lake. And all the people you're terrorizing right now, they're going to be standing in a circle watching it. I promise you. I know things you don't know. I see things you don't see. But some of you do know. Some of you know exactly what you're doing. I can tell it's wearing on many of you. Mr. Rubio especially. He knows he sold his soul. He knows it's over. And despite them putting up a facade as they're all having a good time right now, they all know where they're going. They all know what they've sold. Trust me. One thing I've noticed about MAGA, from Trump and Musk on down to their supporters, is an across-the-board lack of compassion. That is, unless they are directly affected. Then they become indignant when others don't sympathize with them. It's borderline sociopathic behavior. No, it's not borderline at all. It's the only part I disagree with. It's straight up sociopathic behavior. They don't care about other people. They could care fucking less. They just like Donnie shitbags. And guess where they following Donnie shitbags too? The lake. So again, Rubes, enjoy it now. Enjoy all the hate now, because it only ends in one place, lest you turn away. You don't have a lot of time either. This is moving real fast, faster than even I realized. So let's break this down a bit. Yeah, I've noticed this exact thing about MAGA, and it's what I've been trying to say to you people for 8 years in many, many different ways. Lack of compassion, sociopathy, in my opinion. No concern for others. Who cares about what harm you do to others? It's just all a party all the time. Unfortunately for you, it's a party that ends up in the lake. Take that seriously or not, hey, it's your soul, man. So yes, when they become directly affected, for instance, during Trump's first administration, when farmers started to realize, oh shit, these tariffs are cost me all my trading partners, I'm going to lose my farm. They realized they got fucked. They realized Donnie didn't give a flying fuck about them. Then they all of a sudden they wanted to get on TV and on social media and talk about the issue, and they wanted people to rally around them. Here's the thing, folks. If you didn't vote brainwashing, if you didn't vote hate, if you didn't vote stupidity, because unless you're a rich, white, straight male, you should not be voting Republican. You're just a fucking fool if you do. It's that simple. And it just proves the efficacy of brainwashing propaganda on idiots, on low-educated idiots. Even some people who are highly educated. See, hate transcends all that shit, no matter how much schooling you take. Like Mr. Dugan probably thinks he's a wise and smart individual. No, he's just a fucking Nazi. That's all. Ain't jack shit. Not smart, not wise, not nothing. Let all that hate supersede all that knowledge. And I see that with so many people. Hate transcends it all, man. Goes right past the wisdom or book smarts you learned. Don't mean jack shit when you spouting Nazi propaganda. It just shows you're a fucking fool, as ignorant as the devil, who is destined for the lake. That's simple. So yes, once they're affected, we just saw that woman the other day. I showed you what she said. She's going to lose her farm, and she admitted that she voted MAGA. I commend her for at least having the spine to admit that she's helped create this problem. But you know, when you're getting online and you're trying to get people to rally around you, I really question that woman's specifically sincerity and all of you. Once it comes to your doorstep, all of a sudden you want help. You want people to rally around you. Well, here's the thing. We all wanted you to rally around democracy and your country and caring about yourself, your family, your future, and your children. You didn't. You gave a fuck about WWF and Donnie shitbags, an orange face and a shit-filled diaper, walking around playing golf on your dime, charging you for Secret Service to stay at his hotels. And again, that's just the least of his fucking crimes and grifts and schemes and lies. So yeah, I said this before. I said it right after the election. It would come to all of your doorsteps this time. It only came to some of your doorsteps last time in certain ways. It came to all of our doorsteps with COVID and shit like that. A plague that shut down the whole world. That should have told you something, but it didn't. Didn't sway you. So again, it's going to come to all of your doorsteps. I told you this in advance. I predicted it based on what I know, based on who I think Donnie is. And it's coming to all your doorsteps slowly, and it's going to come to every single one, I promise. And I also said, guess who they're going to turn to when it comes to their doorstep? All of a sudden, they're going to want help. They're going to want sympathy. They're going to want empathy, yet they gave none. In fact, they went out of their way to crush that and to crush other people and to hurt other people because they're just like Donnie. I'm sorry. Unless you turn away now, All you've proven to me is you're just like him, and you're just like Leon. You're the hand of Satan. Again, what you've warned all your friends on Facebook and talk shit on liberals and all this, you were the literal movement. You were the hand of Satan you were describing. You just needed to switch the word liberal for Republican. That's all you needed to do. You were it. When you wake up and realize that and turn away, you have a chance. You continue down this path because you brought it to fruition. You made it happen. You were the hand of Satan. That's simple. Sociopathic behavior. I've noticed so many sociopaths throughout my life. That's a problem that's way more widespread than people realize. And it's cost us our country. A bunch of sociopaths that co-signed a sociopath 3 fucking times. And now it's going to ruin all their lives, the entire country, and guess what? The entire planet. There's nowhere to go to run from this, except for in the beginning. And yes, I would have left this country had I had the means. And I suggest anyone that does have the means leave, because you're going to have a better life till it comes to your doorstep later. It's going to come to the whole world's doorstep, don't worry. That's what I've been trying to say for a long time as well. The rubes don't understand what they've done, people. They've ended the world. And you don't have to believe me or agree with me again. You don't have to believe a fucking word I say. It's still going to happen. With his efforts having likely failed to install the pro-Russian AfD candidate into the German chancellery, Musk immediately focused his efforts on installing the pro-Russian candidate in the Romanian elections. And here's a post by someone. Călin Georgescu announces that on his first day as president, he will ban the entire Soros network in Romania. We have ways to do this, blah, blah, blah. First of all, there is no Soros network in Romania. There is a Leon network and a Putin network and a Donnie network, though. That's actual reality, Rube. Sorry to break it to you. Soros wasn't doing none of the things they said he was doing. But Leon was, and you guys were the hand of Satan, helping put the false prophet in charge of your country. Because the beast is half dementia-ridden. So he'll just go along with anything as long as gold is being stacked up in his pile. He'll go along with anything. Plus, they both worship Satan. I can tell by their words, their actions, their crests, a whole bunch of things. I could go on all week about that. But you people don't want to hear that. You're not ready to hear it yet. Don't worry, you will be. Trust me. That's what I find fascinating about this whole process. I can just sit back and watch you all come to belief. I don't have to convince you of jack shit. I already know what's going to happen. I already know many of you are going to come to belief, but it's going to be too late. Unfortunately for you. So yes, Leon's right on it. Romania deserves its own sovereignty. Yes, there's Leon inserting himself into Romanian politics, trying to start shit there. He started shit in England. He started shit in France. He started shit and completed shit and brought the downfall of our nation thanks to you rubes here. He's starting shit in Canada. He's starting shit in Mexico. Any democracy, Leon and Putin are there. Leon's ready to use his website that he bought with Russian, Saudi, and Puff Daddy money to try and sway things in Putin's direction. Well, it worked here. He got the biggest prize of all. Thanks to the rubes. Yeah, I don't know how Europe hasn't arrested this guy yet. And if he sets foot on any European territory, I suggest you guys arrest him, because it's never going to happen here. We're all just going to sit back and watch this idiot steal from us, steal our information, and then call us criminals, send his bots and trolls to my live streams, trying to convince my audience that I'm the criminal. No, son. That's Leon. And that's you. And that's Donnie. And it's always been that way. What some of you trolls and cunts don't know about me, perfectly spotless record, son. And I've been through this dance for almost 10 years. I know what you cunts is going to say before you say it. It's beautiful. Watching you think you know better when you come here, when I've seen every troll trick. I learned it from the gypsy mobsters. You don't know who they are. You will. You're going to go in the same lake they are. Don't worry. You're going to get to know each other. And those two cunts they sent to kill me, too. That fat-ass bald motherfucker. I'm going to see him. And I can't wait to see the look on his face. And the guy who was sitting next to him, that was all covered up. These two chicken shit, both of them, two motherfucking chicken shit, to step out the car and start some real trouble. They knew what they was dealing with, son. Don't worry. I'm going to see you two guys. You're going to have to stand before me. I can't wait. It's going to be awesome. That's if you cunts are even still alive and someone didn't cap your dumb asses by now. Or you didn't die from a fucking heart attack, you fat fuck. Anyway, let's continue. Those are personal messages. See, that's what a lot of my you people don't understand. When you come watch me on social media, I give a lot of personal messages that only certain spirits or entities down here might understand. And trust me, they all watching. Believe that. Every one of them. So Leon inserting himself all over the place, country after country. Have you noticed the pattern yet? Oh, another thing I'd like to say to the cunt trolls that come here on behalf of some evil person from another country, it's not going to make your country better, son. Your country's about to get a lot worse, just like ours. This thing going global. Global. And you want to know how it's all going to end? All you dumbasses that are the hand of Satan, Donnie's going to gather you to a location for war. And you're all going to go because you're fucking idiots. And you're the hand of Satan. And then guess what happens? You get described in the story as a wine press. You know, those old Italian ladies that have a big vat full of grapes and they're stomping the fucking grapes? That's what's going to happen to you, son. It's going to be beautiful. Already written. You wouldn't know that, though. Too busy serving Satan. You wouldn't know that it's already written. You wouldn't know that you're destined for the lake. I know, though. Gather around, MAGA. It's time to explain this one more time. Yes, in your rubery, you may have missed this one. In your hatred, in your hand of Satanness. 83% of the federal workforce works outside of D.C. Rubes. I'm going to do this slow so you can understand. Outside of D.C. in states all across the country. Rubes. In some states, like welfare-ass Alabama and New Mexico, the federal government is the largest employer. Uh-oh, Rubes. Voting Donnie just cost a lot of you your job. If Alabama, the biggest employer, is the federal government, what is you gonna do in Alabama? I guess a lot of you are going to be sitting home, and it don't sound like there's a lot of other jobs in Alabama to go after either. Guess you shot yourself in your own ass over an orange-faced con man and a pasty-ass beluga-shaped fucking South African cunt. Wow, that's stupidity. You people impress me. You truly do. Your stupidity is not only cost you your country, it's going to cost you everything else. It's going to cost you your whole planet. Hole in Wormwood. Bird flu. Donnie just mentioned it today. There wouldn't be no holes and no domes. That's Chernobyl, son. That ain't just a dome. And Ukraine didn't put the hole there. You fat orange cunt. Your master put the hole there. You know, the one whose balls you got in your fucking mouth every day? You, Leon, Rubio, Hegseth, every one of you spineless cunts. Destined for the motherfucking lake, son. No matter what you do to me, that's fleeting. What I'm talking about ain't fleeting. It's eternal. Just for you. Special for you cunts. Hegseth, Leon, Donnie, Miss Levitt. On the other side. Son. Let's continue. Lesson for the rubes of how they cut their own throat, shot themselves in their own ass, and stuck their foot all the way up their ass. And they're going to still tell us how smart they are and how bad of a guy Biden was. And Tom Hanks is a pedo. That's what they're going to spend their time on as they inch closer and closer and closer and closer to the lake. Like true fucking rubes, like true fucking idiots. Just to prove how smart they are. Fascinating again. Again, let's go back to our lesson about how many of you fucking rube idiots are going to lose your job. While you're rooting for hardworking Americans to lose their jobs because of government bloat, no, because a South African oligarch tells you to and you're stupid. That's all. That's the real reason. Remember, these Americans are your neighbors, your friends, and maybe even family members. Well, that's where the sociopathy comes in. You see, one part of politics in this country votes for a man that vows to hurt people. The other part of politics votes for a man or a woman who does not vow to hurt people. That's the difference. That's why the sociopathy is you, MAGA, not the other side. I'm not seeing the other side taking Russian money. I'm not seeing the other side trying to extort Ukraine for half their resources as they're under attack via an evil dictator named Vlad, who don't have many years left. He getting old. Oh, well. That's just another step closer to the lake, Mr. Putin. No avoiding that. You can't sit 100 feet away at a table from the lake, son. You just going in. And that's the end of your story, Vlad. For all eternity. Just a wasted piece of shit ex-KGB runt going right in the fucking lake. Screaming and crying and kicking. Every one of you. I already know it. I've already seen it. Especially God's little imp. That's going to be fun. Watching that cunt. That little imp. Kicking, screaming, writhing. Till that fire hits his ass. Then it'll go quiet. Like it always should have fucking been. When people lose their jobs, rubes, it creates financial hardship. It increases unemployment payouts. It reduces consumer demand and decreases spend, which hurts local businesses. Here's another one, rubes. When you root for California and New York to fail like you do all day, every day, because you're fucking stupid, remember, they pay your bill. They pay your welfare in your welfare states like Alabama. So you're rooting for your own demise. As South African oligarchs stuff their pockets with your tax money, as Donnie stuffs his pockets, as Rubio stuffs his pockets, etc., Mitch McConnell, etc., etc., every one of them, except for like 2. Yes, you should really be rooting for New York and California. You should think of those two states as your mother and father. If they fail, you're on the street, right, son? So your mother, California, and your father, New York, you better wish them all the success in the world, because if they don't succeed, your states fall to fucking ruin. But again, rubery, you would never know these things. You would never know what this person's trying to explain to you. You're just too caught up in the bullshit. That happening on a national scale all across the country impacts the economy, Rubes, and that impacts you. While saving billions in government spend, which you'll never see a dime, you will feel the pain of the strain unemployment takes on the economy, coupled with tariffs and increased cost of goods due to rising inflation. Congratulations on saving the government money while hurting the lives of average Americans. We are not saving the government money whatsoever. That money's going to get pocketed. That's simple. You don't dismantle at this pace unless you plan on pocketing it. That's simple, man. This is great. Fox is saying that we are all going to get lots of money back from the government because all the fraud Elon is finding, the fraud is finding. And we'll get to buy houses and cars with it. I hope this only takes a few weeks for these checks to go. They don't need you rubes anymore. They don't need to send you jack shit. In fact, they're going to take your money, son. I wouldn't be surprised if all of you woke up in the next year, 2 years, everyone's bank account just closed or the banks are shuttered. No one gets their shit. All these geriatrics with a couple million saved up, that'll be gone. But don't worry, they'll have the answer for you. After they've taken what is real and of value from you, they'll offer you something of no value, a digital currency. Maybe they'll even start you off with a nice little amount of money just to get you on board. Just like Judas. That's how they got him on board. Yes, you're not going to see a dime. None of you are getting checks. That's all bullshit. The only people that are getting money are Thale, Leon, Donnie, people like that. Vlad. Not you. They don't need your rubes anymore. They've shown you that in spades. You just haven't seen it yet. Mainland China reports 2 more H9N2 bird flu human cases. I just have a feeling. Call me crazy. Since it's the apocalypse, I just have a feeling this bird flu is going to get out of control. Hey, we're already importing, what, like 70 zillion tons of eggs from Turkey? I wonder how far it's going to go. I have a feeling it's going to go further than it usually does. Just a guess. Maybe I'm wrong. Here's Leon. They are going way too far. A man was actually murdered by Luigi and they tried to kill the president twice. This is not okay at all. Who was Luigi? Well, he was a startup guy who idolized Elon Musk. Now all of a sudden Leon cares about Luigi shooting somebody? He's the reason Luigi shot somebody. He's the one he idolized. Incredible. As far as the 2 times trying to kill the ex-president, the one guy didn't get anywhere near him. The second guy, again, the bullet grazed his ear, and somehow the Secret Service let him up for a fist pump that they made a statue of, and there's all kind of merchandise to go along with it. And the whole presidency, his whole identity now, even according to Leon, is a head wound that healed. A head wound that healed in front of the whole world. A head wound that healed in front of the whole world. A head wound that healed in front of the whole world. Leon going around exercising that person's authority. Fully completely, utterly. For the wise man, that would be enough to make him understand what I just said. For everyone else, you better ask somebody. So Leon bringing this up is very dangerous rhetoric, trying to convince the world that there were some real attempts on Donnie's life and that he had nothing to do with Luigi, that Luigi is just some bad guy. No, Luigi was all about Leon scum. That's who he idolized. He was a Leon cultist. That's why that CEO is dead right now. Thank Leon for it. Luigi Mangioni's trial hasn't even started. Everyone has a right to be presumed innocent until proven guilty. But the right-hand man for the president, one of the wealthiest people in the world, saying this to his 218 million followers, means Luigi Mangioni can never get a fair trial. Well, let's be honest, Mangioni's guilty. I mean, everyone knows it. But the person has a point. Leon shouldn't be weighing in this manner, but he is anyway. Florida man shoots 2 Israeli tourists after mistaking them for Palestinians. Wow, and here's what that looks like. I don't even, what do we even need to say about that? Just another psycho, inspired by what's been going on lately. Here's Leon again. The real reason so many Democrats are upset about entitlements, Social Security, medical, etc. fraud investigations is that they are using your taxpayer money as handouts to attract and retain illegal immigrants, their future voters. That's what it's all. Oh, Leon. No, that's not the real reason. Here's the real reason. We don't want a fat South African cunt stealing all our information who runs a bunch of businesses. Any business would die to have the whole of America's list of names, incomes, everything about them. Any business would die for that fucking information. And Leon's been wanting it for a long time. That's the reason we don't want Leon looking for fraud. First of all, he's the biggest fraud next to Bernie Madoff I've ever seen in business. So we don't want a fraud, someone who wasn't even born in America, having access to all of our information. Perhaps that's the problem, you fat fuck. You think? I do. And as far as illegal immigrants, you fat fuck, you are an illegal immigrant. Your brother admitted it on television. Again, just pure projection. Oh, let me put truth at the bottom of my statement. Leon's a fat, disgusting fuck who no woman wants to have sex with. Truth. Leon's the greatest leech on America that has ever walked the earth. Truth. Leon looted our country for $440 billion in the first month. Did you guys get a check in the first month? No, you didn't. Leon got $440 billion, though, under 2 contracts. Truth. Leon's a Nazi. Truth. How do I know that? Oh, well, he did a literal Nazi salute in front of the whole world. And then the next morning, when the ketamine and ecstasy wore off, he was crying like a bitch. That the whole world said, hey, what's up with that Nazi salute last night? Oh, that wasn't a Nazi salute. Yes, it was, cunt. Again, you won't be able to lie your way out of bullshit at the lake, son. And you specifically, you and Donnie and your daddy, you 3 names specifically going in, son. I would not want to be you. Oh, my God. Oh, my God. Money as handouts to attract and retain illegal immigrants. Well, Leon's a retained illegal immigrant. That's kind of interesting. Handouts, you say, Leon. No one's gotten more handouts than Leon scum. Every word projection. The guy does nothing but lie, scheme, and steal. That's all I see all day this person do. Again, that's why Leon and Donnie are named specifically in the story as going in the lake. Their daddy gets a little extra time, but Leon and Donnie just go right the fuck in. Didn't mince words, Elon Musk cruelly branded retarded age 7 by teachers because he stared into space, Tesla CEO's dad claims. That's what that looks like. I stared into space. People thought I might be slightly autistic when I was a child. But you know what? I didn't turn into a sociopath. And 300 billion would have been enough for me. I wouldn't have had to rule the world on top of it. You know what I would have did? Sat back and enjoyed my money. I wouldn't make it my mission in life to prove in front of the entire world what an abject douchebag I am. So cringe that I personify cringe. So sociopathic, I think it's funny to fire millions of people. Laugh now, Leon. We all know where it's going. You know too, and so does your daddy. Even though you look so cute in your Scarlet Knight outfit with the Baphomet crest. Maybe you can wear that when you come to the lake. I'm sure everyone would love to see you in it again. Anyway, my point is, there are a lot of autistic, semi-autistic people that stare into space, but they don't turn into Leon scum. That's the thing about it. So it's a character thing. It's not whether you're autistic or this or that. It's character. And even the hardest core Down syndrome person or mentally retarded person, even they have character that transcends their intellect. I've seen it with countless individuals. There are people in this world with good character and there are people with bad. Doesn't matter what your mental ability is. This is what this person had to say. This is a very complicated theory. Here's a simpler one. Leon hired a bunch of unqualified dipshits to cut the budget. They have no idea what they're doing and they keep fucking up. Also, he tried to keep their names secret, and it turns out that was for a reason. Oh, you don't even know how livid they are that all the names came out. The names of their parents, too. Don't worry, we'll go over them again. Over and over and over and over. Because, again, you cunts want to steal all our information, our classified secrets. You think it's a fucking game. You're going to learn it's not a game. I think you've already learned that. The rest of your life is ruined. Do you realize that? Everyone knows who you are. Everyone knows what you're doing. They even know what your parents are doing. I don't know, within a month, because you decided to sell your soul for Leon scum. I'm talking to the Hitler Youth here. Your whole life is ruined. Do you realize that? You're a pariah for the rest of your fucking life. Damn, I wouldn't want to live that down. Don't worry, the rest of your life won't be that long. About 3.5 years. So there's no future to enjoy all that money, guys. I'm very sorry. You know, the money you sold your soul for? Sorry, guys. Sorry for your parents, too, that everyone knows their name now, too. Illegal purpose, whatever. It's your soul, man. Hey, what I think is great is the 6 or 7 Hitler Youth kids again. Don't you love how Leon was all about Doge and you guys until the people started talking prison sentences? And then all of a sudden this 2-sentence thing that Leon has nothing to do with Doge. I guess it's all on you guys now. The college dropouts and the kid that just got out of high school. Man, I wouldn't want to be you guys. Leon has disavowed you. Leon threw you under the bus. After all you've given him, your entire life, your entire existence, what little bit is left of it. Because kids, you ain't ever growing old. I'm sorry to break it to you. And you took part in something way out of your depth. And your soul is gone now. It's forfeit. Lest you turn away, but I know none of you will. That allure of being that next startup guy, being like Leon, it's just too much for you. Because you got ostracized and teased and no girl wanted to date you. I know. I can tell by looking at all of you what you are. How pathetic you are. How sociopathic. How evil. You got 3.5 years, roughly. Good luck, children. Judge declines to block Musk team's foray into federal agencies. Judge Tanya Chutkan declined to grant a request by 14 state attorneys general to temporarily bar Leon Scum and his associates from accessing data at 7-something. I'm not even going to read the whole thing. You get the point. That's great that a judge said, yeah, you just take all of the info. They have it all anyway. But it'd be nice for a judge to say, yeah, you're not allowed to do that. You're not allowed to have everyone in America's personal information, every business, all the tax info, their socials, every single thing about us these people have. So they shouldn't get mad, right? It's fair's fair, right, people? When we get the names, when we get the faces, and we collect all that. Just like you're doing. Right, guys? Perfectly fair. I'd say it's fair. I don't see a problem with it. You want us to just sit back and let you steal all of our information, which you've already done. So you should have no problem with this, right? When we show your pictures and names. So we can have all your information just like you have all of ours. I think that's perfectly fair and perfectly just. And again, I guess I should explain this again. We're making a list too. But by we, I mean me, God, the Holy Spirit, and Christ. But our list is eternal. And I'm just the chronicler down here. Because I have a feeling there may be some court sessions in the future. And certain people like me are going to be up there saying what you've done. I don't know. Just a thought I had. Maybe it'll never happen. Maybe it's just a mirage, an illusion, a delusion in my mind. For some reason, though, I'm thinking it's going to be real. I'm thinking there's a reason certain of us are keeping track of every second of this. The Trump regime has signed the Lavrov-Ribbentrop agreement with the Putin regime. Russia and the U.S. met in Saudi Arabia to discuss their plot to defeat Ukraine and plunder the resources under the guise of peace agreement that Ukraine and Europe were excluded from. Yes, you had a summit in Saudi Arabia between the United States, Russia, and the Saudis over what's going to happen with Ukraine. So basically what you had is a bunch of Russian oligarchs and representatives, a bunch of U.S. representatives, and the Saudi royal family sitting there slicing up sections of Ukraine on the map of what they're going to take. That's what took place today. How do I know that? Because Ukraine wasn't invited and neither was Europe. So that tells me that was just a slice and dice, plan. They all said, yeah, I want that, I want that, I want the lithium, I want the uranium, I want this, I want that, I want the oil. That's how it went. Do you realize what's happening? America and Russia are now the enemy of the world. We used to be somewhat of the good guy and on the good guy's side. You know, the European countries, the democracies, Canada, Mexico. No, we're their enemy now. We're aligned with Russia. dangerous fucking territory, man. And we're being looted and dismantled in the process. And they want to steal from the military, too. I don't know if that's such a good idea, because we're about to get involved in World War III, I can tell. The alignments have switched. And it's going to be all the European countries against, Russia and America. So I suggest Europe start putting some real money into their military, because you're going to need it. Because you can't trust America anymore. We're done. We're over. This is an oligarchy. We're Russia now. We're seeing it. So yes, you basically had three entities, none of them actually the entity that matters, which is Ukraine and Europe, deciding what's going to happen. I don't think Ukraine's going to go for it, even though I know the Antichrist would love him to. I don't think that's going to happen. I know the Antichrist and Leon would love if we all made it easy for them to build the temple and get rid of the Palestinians and worship Donnie when he walks in the temple and says, I'm God and all that. I know you'd like us to make it easy for you. Unfortunately, we're not going to do that. Sorry. So you're going to have a miserable time down here. And then when it's all over, you're going to get thrown in the lake up there, okay? That's your life. That's your existence. Enjoy. No matter what you do to anyone. It's already been, done. It's already been accomplished. He completed his mission. Because Satan's a fucking prideful idiot. If Satan was smart, he would have made sure Jesus had a nice, comfortable life in the hills somewhere, and no one ever touched him. But Satan isn't smart. He's prideful. He's a prideful cunt. He's a bitch. He's stupid. He's a 3-year-old who thinks he can beat up his father. He's a 3-year-old who thinks what is written can be altered. It cannot. Sorry, imp. It's written. You're going in. You're special. You're God's special little creature. This afternoon, the top FDA food official responsible for overseeing America's food safety and inspections resigned from the federal government. Did you hear that? The head of the FDA. Head of food safety? Resigned? Okay. Thanks, Rubes. As we have reported, some migrants held there are classified as high threat detainees. I don't need to read this. What's going on is several news outlets have discovered that exactly what I said is happening. When we discovered the new concentration camp and only the worst are going to go there. Remember that? That was the first goalpost. The worst of the worst. And that's a complete vagary. They could have sent your grandma there for all I know, under the guise of worst of the worst. Well, they've taken it further. Now it's not just the worst of the worst. Some of them are just people that came across the border illegally, go into a camp. But wait a minute. I thought the goalpost for the new concentration camp was only the worst of the worst are I imagine Hitler used the exact same line when he first opened his camps. And I said back then, when I first heard about the camp, I said that's going to be for dissidents, journalists, Christians, Jews, other people, whoever they don't like at the moment. That's the real reason for the camp. Not to round up as many brown-skinned Spanish people as possible and put them there. That's the facade part. They ain't rounding up that many people, because that ain't what the camp's for. Plus, it would crash the economy even faster than they're going to crash it, because they need us on crypto. They need us cashless. They need total control. So the goalposts for the concentration camp have already been moved, Rubes. Hope you don't end up down there. I know it would never happen to you because you voted for Donnie, right? That's never how it works, Rubes. New groups always get added. Well, a new group has already been added.
Not just the worst of the worst, some people that just ain't that bad at all. Next will be dissidents, judges, journalists, Christians, Jews, etc. U.S. sending nonviolent, low-risk migrants to Guantanamo despite vow to detain the worst there. Indeed, despite vow. This was an ad that someone put on Facebook. Facebook took the ad down. That's how serious the censorship is already. And it's an ad involving Leon Scum. So, of course, it had to come down, right, Zuck? You scared little child. I know you were king of your realm for so long, Zuck. You know, when you ban people like me for no fucking reason. Just because some cunts complain and they can't handle it. Look at you now, got the gas face, giving talking points for Donnie out, like you as spokesman, throwing him even more money after you paid tribute of $1 million. Look at you now. Look at all you sad ass social media guys. Ugh. So sad to see you all like under the thumb like this. A single individual now controls sensitive U.S. data, risking our national security. Urge Congress to enforce strict oversight. This is an ad that was on Facebook. Freelon.org, your signature is missing. Demand Congress limit Musk's access to sensitive data act now. Now, I don't think this ad is too bad. My God, the MAGA ads I've seen over the years were horrible. That didn't stop Zuck from taking the Russian money. That's what I find funny about this. This is money, people. This person paid Facebook to run this ad. They even said, even though you're paying us, we're still taking it down. That's how much of a, I don't know, slave to Leon we are. Even though Leon's our competitor. But Leon's the false prophet and Donnie's the beast, so, you know, we got to listen. But Zuck had no problem taking that Russian money, right, Zuck? For a few decades there. But this person's money is no good to you, right? Fucking 17-year-old cunt. Why this ad was removed? This content was removed because our technology or teams found that it didn't follow our rules on unacceptable business practices. Why? Because it's critical of Leon? I see all kind of MAGA ads all over the place saying horrible, vile things about people. Why weren't they taken down, Zuck? Oh, because Russian money paid for them, right? You're another cunt, son, destined for the lake. Ugh. All you prideful cunts in your $30,000 suits. Like Zuckerberg, that's completely stole the idea that made him as rich as he is today, plus a lot of Russian money. The prideful looks you guys get when you hit that first 5 million, 10 million, a billion, whatever. The pride. As if you were ever jack shit before. As if anyone ever took a second look at your pathetic fucking ass until you're a billionaire. That's all going to be wiped right off your face. Don't worry. Trump's USDA admits it accidentally fired several agency employees working on the federal response to H5N1 avian flu outbreak and is now scrambling to undo the damage. Well, this is the second story we've heard like this, right? First, it was the nuclear arsenal people they fired, Luke Farritor and his buddies. Now it's some avian flu people that we really need. Once again, that's why you don't have college dropouts who want to be startup guys and tech bros accessing our fucking information and firing people. The fuck they know about running a business? Or a government, or anything, for that matter. None of them got experience in jack shit. They're all sociopath jokes. Pariahs that no one wants to be around. That Leon just threw under the bus. Again, all 6 of you cunts got thrown right under the bus by your daddy Leon. And I don't even want to know what you guys doing behind closed doors with him. Denise Chung, head of the criminal division in the D.C. U.S. Attorney's Office, resigned Tuesday after refusing a Justice Department order to freeze $20 billion in climate funds. In her resignation letter, she revealed that Trump officials had pressured her to launch a baseless criminal probe. She handed in her resignation after she refused to order the bank to freeze the funds while claiming a criminal probe was underway. That step, she noted, required probable cause. It's so funny how Donnie and Leon are always concerned about funds, isn't it? Funny, one of the first things they went after was the Treasury. I wonder why. Can you figure it out, Rubes? Now, you wouldn't figure it out if Leon slapped you with a bag of gold he stole of your tax money. He'd still be fucking gargling his couillons. Come on now. Heather Thomas, the girl that used to be on the Fall Guy. The goal is to collapse the government and the dollar. Yes, I said that a while back, didn't I? They have to crash it. They need this crypto thing to happen. They need this Mark of the Beast thing to happen. I promise you. Again, you don't have to believe it. It will get offered to you, don't worry. That's when you'll believe. But by then it'll be too late, and you'll be too scared not to take it. You know, you got to fulfill your destiny as the hand of Satan. You got to take it all the way to the lake, man. Right, guys? Of course you do. Keep on trolling out there. You're doing great. One more time. The goal is to collapse the government and the dollar. Wow, Heather Thomas from the Fall Guy, Lee Majors. I loved that damn show in the 80s. She gets it. Why don't so many other people get it? That's exactly what they're doing. They're dismantling us, looting us, leaving us ripe for attack. Vlad's wet dream, baby. Donnie's wet dream, too. Donnie's been wanting this grift since the early 80s. Since the Oprah show. But I know, Rubes, he's not a politician, right? Isn't that what you all used to say in your idiocy? Trump's message to Ukrainians who feel betrayed by his administration. I hear they're upset about not having a seat. Well, they've had a seat for 3 years. No, they haven't had a seat, you fat orange fuck with a load of shit in your diaper. High on Adderall. Only thing that's keeping the man standing these days. Whatever drug they're pumping him full of. Like they were before his first 4 years. Guy's been a drug addict his whole fucking life. And he said it in a very condescending, like fucking making fun of Ukraine way. Oh, I hear they're upset about not having a seat. People are saying they don't have a seat. Well, they've had a seat for 3 years. No, they have not. They've been under siege for 3 years. You fucking cunt destined for the lake. How dare he fucking say this? I couldn't believe it. Again, every second of this cunt's existence. Spawned by abject monsters, he proves more and more he is Antichristo. Every second. And you motherfuckers know it too, but you gotta run with it now, right? All the way to the abyss, baby. Really show them how dedicated, smart, and loyal you are, and wise. We'll see when we're all standing around the lake how wise you is. USDA says it accidentally fired officials working on bird flu. Yes, I already read that to you. This is a different headline involved in that. and is trying to rehire them. Again, this is the second time it's happened, one with the nuclear arsenal, now with the bird flu people. Same thing that happened at Twitter with Leon fired a bunch of people that were critical to running the place, and he had to beg them to come back. So again, this is a pattern with Leon. Leon doesn't know what the fuck he's doing. He's just a fat rich kid that got a hair transplant and who buys into places and fires people so he can pocket the spoils that you all built over years. And that's what he's doing with our government. What we've built here for 200 fucking years, however long it's been. Leon and Donnie are stealing it all. The product of all your sweat and tears. Generation upon generation. You cunt rubes just handed them the keys to all that, even though people have been screaming for 8 years not to do it. Again, it's already cost your country. It's cost some of you your jobs. It's going to cost some of you your farms. And it's going to come to every single one of your doorsteps. This is not shit as usual, as much as you'd like it to be. This time is different. Everyone's going to have to make a choice, and everyone's going to have to face this shit. Be ye rube or not. It's different this time. I promise you. You're not just going to skate this time. A Nazi half-trillionaire with erectile dysfunction is hacking off chunks of the government to pay for his giant rockets. A Russian mafia-backed real estate con man is POTUS and wants Palestine to be Trump Gaza Riviera. The government promotes child rapist Andrew Tate. Mad yet? Yes, that's just plain reality. That's our reality right now. Are you mad yet? You believe yet that you dealing with something special? Have we ever had co-presidents before in this country? No, we've never had that. Especially one that was born in a foreign country. Richest man in the world. MAGA knows Trump is lying about Ukraine. They know Russia started the war. They know Putin is entirely to blame for targeting civilians from the start. They're so corrupted by evil that they'll flood my replies with praise of Trump's lies and Putin's murders. Watch. Of course they will. Now, to be fair, a lot of those comments will be bots and trolls sent by the RNC, sent by Russia, sent by India, sent by Saudi Arabia. So they're not all real people. But some of you, some of the rubes, yes, they're going to do exactly what Rick Wilson said here. They're going to defend evil. Why? Because they evil too. It's that simple. There's no excuses for you folks anymore. I'm sorry. I can't make them. I've tried. You're just evil just like him. It's that simple. Unless you prove you're not and turn away. But you'd have to face the consequences if you did that. Most of you aren't ready for that. In fact, pretty much all of you aren't ready for that. I'll use Adam Kinzinger, Liz Cheney as examples of what you would have to face. When they both turned on MAGA and turned on Donnie, they lost family, they lost friends, they lost their careers, they lost their reputation in certain circles. But here's what they got, their dignity. They can always say, I put my country over my party when it mattered. And I was willing to face the persecution. How many other Republicans could say that? I can't think of any. In government. Only two. And I wonder why it's only two. Germany's hospitals are running out of beds as flu rips through children. The hardest hit are kids under 8 with school outbreaks and a surge in pediatric hospitalizations. That's Robert Koch Institute that information comes from. And I don't know, I'm just getting, as I'm reading about these flus and stuff, I'm getting a vibe that it's just a little worse than it's been before. And the bird flu as well, I'm just getting a vibe that it's just going to keep escalating. I'm worried about it. Pope has double pneumonia, condition remains complex. I wonder why the Pope has double pneumonia now. Could he not be doing what he's supposed to be doing, I wonder? Warning the world who certain people are? Could that be why this is happening to the Pope right now? Just a thought I had. Because remember, I gave a warning to the Pope, and that wasn't my warning. That was someone else's warning. And I told him to prophesy now the truth and save his wretched soul. Doesn't look like he's doing that. Probably no coincidence that Putin's crony Dmitry Rybolovlev, the guy Trump sold his mansion to in 2008 for 3 times the value at $95 million, in effect bailing Trump out of looming bankruptcy. Yes, everyone loves to pay triple what a property's worth, right? Especially Russian oligarchs for some reason down in Florida. They love paying double, triple the price to Donnie. I wonder why. Maybe it's for a transaction that isn't really involving a home. Perhaps. Adam Schiff, you should have never started it. That's what Donnie said about Ukraine. When they started asking about Ukraine, Donnie got indignant. And he basically got the attitude like, hey, me and the Saudis and Vlad are trying to, carve this turkey up here and take our pieces. Why are you asking me these questions? Now, of course, he didn't say that, but that's the attitude he had. And one of the things he said is they should have never started it, as if Ukraine had any choice in starting it. Again, the abominations, the blasphemies. The lake awaits, Orange boy. That's a promise. Special for you. Written for you specifically over 1,000 years ago. Such ignominious ignorance. Such betrayal of our allies. Such a cowardly surrender. Indeed, Mr. Schiff, well said. Today I heard, oh, well, we weren't invited. This is Donnie talking, Trump said, when asked about criticism from Ukraine, seeming to direct his response to Zelensky. Well, you've been there for 3 years. You should have ended it 3 years. You should have never been there. You should have never started it. You should have made a deal. How do you make a deal against an invading army? Again, Satan! That's what's speaking right here. How any of you can co-sign this cretin, this beast, this antichrist. I don't know how you can hear him say the things he says. And you know it's all for grift, but you got to own the libs, right? Is that what it is? Do you think you're owning the libs right now? Nope. You just allowed a South African oligarch to steal all your info and money, and Donnie to steal all your info and money and sell you out to Vlad. And I've been thinking, maybe they'll send Russian troops over here to police us, and they'll send the American troops over to Russia to police them. I wonder if that's how it's going to work. Because of your rubes. Yeah, Zelensky didn't start the war. He hasn't had a seat at the table for 3 years. He's had on and off aid from America, when Donnie wasn't telling Congress not to give Ukraine any aid, that aid we promised them when they gave up their nuclear weapons. Trump official announces that Trump has signed an executive order claiming that only the president can speak for what the law is. Yeah, there was a guy, I don't even know who he is, and I don't fucking care. standing next to Donnie. Here's what it looks like. And he was going through all the executive orders that were done that day, and he saved the best one for last. And I could tell by the man's body language and Donald's body language, this was the big moment they were waiting for. And they were hoping it would just pass. But both of them gave the game away for me. Their body language and the tone of voice the guy had who was announcing the executive orders, his voice was shaky, nervous, especially on this last one. Why? Why was Donnie's demeanor strange? Why was this man's voice shaky and his demeanor strange? Because they both know they're doing something very evil and very illegal right now with this president makes the law shit. They know it. I could hear it in his voice. Again, so many of you around this. Miss Levitt's a good example. Some of you other people. You know what you're doing. I know you do. And I can see the wear it's taken on you. And there's no respite from it. Because after this is over, you're just going right in the lake unless you turn away. I don't expect any of you to. You know why? Because in America, you work so hard to get that position and get a lot of money in a nice house, don't you? So it doesn't matter what you have to do to get there. Even sell your soul for the Antichrist. For all eternity. Even that, so many of you would just do so willingly. I know. It's sad. It's something I've noticed about you humans my whole life. Just as long as that success keeps going. Because you wouldn't want to be seen as a loser, right? And not have a lot of money. To the point. You'd risk it a swim in a lake. Not just risk it, dive headlong in via your actions. So I hope the nice house was worth it and all that. Whatever you had to do, as you were being the hand of Satan here, helping these people. One more time, only the president can speak for what the law is. Where do you think they're going with this? Hey, well, that executive order I put out, I'm the law. I interpret the law now. Really? Well, that's called a dictatorship. Rubes. And that's where all this is going. I told you they're going to get tired of the judges' rulings, tired of the opposition, just like Hitler. Fuck it, just arrest them all. Send them to Gitmo. Then they won't even be on U.S. soil, and I got to worry about them. That could happen tomorrow. And it wouldn't surprise me if it did. That's what you Rubes have done. And you could be on that boat too, Rube. Say the wrong thing, do the wrong thing. Someone makes a phone call on you. Maybe you half Jewish. Because we know where this always goes, right? Especially the last one. Especially the real beast. He's going to be going after Christians and Jews. It's going to happen. That's the real goal. One of the largest Christian communities is the Latin community. Did you know that? Brazil, places like that. I wonder if that's why they're going to face all the persecution first, and have been. Just a thought. Leon Scum, all we're really trying to do here is restore the will of the people. No, Leon, Donnie got less than 50% of the vote. There's no will of the people here. Through the president. And what we're finding is that there's an unelected bureaucracy that is implacably opposed to the president and the cabinet. Yeah, they're opposed to this takeover, stealing and looting of our country, dismantling of our country. And it's obvious. And again, Leon is literally an unelected bureaucrat talking about unelected bureaucracy. Again, it's nothing but projection and lies with Leon all day, every day. And, that's democracy. You have opposition. Leon doesn't like that. And again, he's giving the game away again here. There's always bureaucracy or opposed to the president. There's always opposition to a president in the United States. Leon don't like that. Leon wants dictatorship for him and Donnie. That's what he means when he says things like this. And Leon, again, not only are you an illegal immigrant, you're an unelected bureaucrat who just threw your Hitler Youth under the bus, saying you're not part of Doge. I hope you're not afraid of prison, children, because you might end up there before the 3.5 years is up. Because it sounds like you're going to be the sacrificial lambs at some point. But that's the least of your worries. What you're really doing is following the false prophet Leon to the abyss. And you've ruined the rest of your life here on this planet. You've ruined your parents' lives as well, all in search of that mighty gold coin that you're looking for. But you children wouldn't understand that concept at the age you're at. You just want to be big time. I get it. I get it. Here's a beautiful meme. Donnie lighting his Nazi cigar with the Constitution. And yes, that's literally what's going on. And yes, Donnie's literally a Nazi. I'm not even exaggerating. And so's Leon. So's Van Rensburg. Whole bunch of people. Yeah, and they're still pretending that that Van Rensburg person wasn't there. We know it was you, dude. We know. We're not stupid. And, you know, I know some people. People that you people don't know. We know it's you. Despite the 3 fake pictures you're putting online. Despite the fake accounts saying they know you. Or know Harrison. We know it's you. And you're on the list. You know, just like you were guarding the door so the Hitler Youth could get our information and put us on a list. You're on a list too, Mr. Van Rensburg. I just want you to know that. Have a nice evening. UK confirms H5N5, bird flu in 2 gray seals. Yeah, when I saw this, I'm like, well, how many different animals are going to get this shit? I'm reading studies about cats getting it, cat to cat. Now seals, and a commenter explained that, yeah, different animals have gotten it over the years, but I just got a different feeling about this one this time. And when I read seals are getting it, I'm like, what the fuck? Are all the animals going to get this? Are we going to lose, I don't know, 1/3 of the animals with this shit? I don't know. And that's it, I think, for this evening. Again, I got to ask people here. There's still a whole segment of America that somehow thinks it's cool that Donnie and Rubio just went to a country where the people are being raped, pillaged, murdered, fighting for their lives. A delegation just went there of the couch fucker J.D. Vance and Mr. Rubio, who I can tell selling his soul to a guy that calls him Little Marco is really wearing on him. But it's too late for you, Marco, because I know you're never going to turn away. It's too late. Sorry, buddy. You got the lake to look forward to, and I can tell you ain't enjoying down here too much. Anyway, my point is, if you're talking up JD and you're talking up Little Marco, trying to extort Ukraine as their people are being raped, kidnapped, pillaged, murdered, you have a date with the lake. I'm sorry to break it to you. I don't want to debate you on it. There's no point in it. You're already dead. You didn't know that? God doesn't see time the way we do. The past, the present, and the future are all one moment to him. They're all happening at the same time. So when God decides to create us, he knows in advance every choice we're going to make, including his little imp. That's why he knew from the beginning what the end would be. Do you understand what I'm saying to you? If you have a date with the lake and it's already written, then you were dead from the beginning. You're a dead man walking. I might as well not even waste my time talking to you. You're already deceased. You chose that, though, you know? Free will, man. We're not robots down here. God makes it clear that he gave us free will, and you can do what you want. But at the end of it, you're going to have to stand before me, whether you believe in me or not. Doesn't matter what God you liked down here. Meaningless. You're still going to stand in front of the man. And he's going to ask you, why'd you take part in the Antichrist regime? Why'd you do this? Why did you cheer on rape, pillage, murder, extortion? Why did you cheer on threats of violence against political opposition? Why did you help dismantle America and cheer on concentration camps and cheer on brown shirts standing by doors and troll for liars and murderers like Flad and the RNC? Why did you do that? Especially after you saw one of the teachers and you heard what he had to say. You still continued. You got detailed warnings of what you were doing, and you still continued. I guess my point is, and then I'll end it. God's little imp and all his children, they were all dead from day one. It's written. You're all dead men and women walking that are involved in this, lest you turn away. You were dead the day you were born. You were dead before you were born. It's a fascinating concept, isn't it? It's kind of like that scene in a movie called Heat with De Niro. And, you know, everybody loves De Niro, right? I do. And De Niro made a deal. De Niro and his crew robbed a very rich man. They didn't know. So the guy they use as a what's that called? A fence, who takes the merchandise and gets them what they can get for money-wise. I think they were bearer bonds or something that they stole. Hold on. So the fence says to them, hey, I can call Van Zant, that's the guy they robbed, I think, if I'm remembering correctly. I can call Van Zant and just let him know, you know, I got the bonds. I know who took them. And, you know, we can sell them back to you. And that way you get the insurance money and you get your bonds back. So Van Zant agreed to that on the phone. But he was like, you know, a high-level executive, like CEO type person. So he thought he was a tough guy. Like a lot of you do, when none of you are. So Van Zant tells his people, no one steals from me. You're gonna, at the drop off, when we meet these guys, or when you meet these guys, you're gonna take care of them. So the drop off, the exchange happens in an empty kind of parking lot. And of course, there was a few assassins there that tried to kill De Niro. And luckily, Val Kilmer was up on a stoop with a high-powered rifle, and he was an excellent shot. So him and De Niro killed the people that were trying to kill them. And they went to a restaurant, and De Niro got on the phone, and he called Mr. Van Zant up. And he said, can I speak to Mr. Van Zant? They say, oh, that's me. And he said, who is this? And he said, you know who this is. And he said, oh, I sent some people to meet you. Did you see them? And he said, forget about that. De Niro said, forget about that. And Van Zant's like, you don't want the money? He's like, nah, I don't want the money. And so Van Zant's like, why? And De Niro said, because there's a dead man on the other end of this phone. Click. There's a dead man on the other end of this phone. Click. That's your existence. That's all it ever was. Unless you're one of the ones that turn away. You still got a little time. A good symbolic step towards that, a good step towards heaven or whatever you think of it as, it's not taking that mark. That's where this is all going. They want you to take that mark. Satan wants you to worship him. That's been the goal since day one. He wanted to be God. He wants to be worshipped as God by God's people. Unfortunately, none of you that would ever worship Satan or take the mark, you were never God's people. You just pretended to be. And you sullied God's name and his church and made all the other people that looked from the outside say, I never want to join the church. Because look at those fucking hypocrites. They're the most evil people on the planet. And I agree. They are. They've proven it. They've just ushered in the Antichrist, the false prophet, and the apocalypse. And if what you've seen so far doesn't convince you, wait till you see what's coming next. Maybe that'll convince you. Probably not, though. Because again, all you humans down here, you're so wise. You know it all. You've got it figured out. Here's what you ain't got figured out. There's a dead man on the other end of this phone. Click! Have a wonderful evening.